Hi, everyone. I'm Jeannie Ralston, and I'm excited to see all of you. I see some familiar faces and somebody that I've heard about but haven't gotten to meet, Catherine Adams.
Hey,
Um,
Catherine. I had to run into another room.
Allison,
Hey.
see you. Hi.
and Nan, I know you've signed up, but there's some others here who I don't think have signed up. I know Catherine and Nan have, but um, I again, I'm Jeannie Ralston, and I not only am the founder of Next Tribe, but am an Asheville resident. Asheville is my hometown now, and I just adore this city. And as you know, a lot it's been through a lot in the past few months, but it's back. I mean, it's coming back. I have no hesitation about bringing people here in the spring. So because there's been so much work being done here. Elliser, my friend Elliser, who has been a guide on this trip, she was just here this past weekend. We did a lot of fun things this past weekend, and it's also just it's really good to have people here. I think that for the whole community, it's good to see tourists coming back and visitors coming back. So I not only want to show you my hometown, but I also want to help my hometown feel get back to normal. So I'm hoping that in the spring you'll be with us and we can celebrate what's going on in Asheville. It's just a great town. And I'm just about to share, I've got a little presentation to show you of what we'll be doing and seeing while we're on this. Can you see this now? My uh
Yes.
great. Okay, I just have to, oops. I just have to hit full screen. Hold on 1 second. It's very, there's some difficulties. I have difficulties with these things. Full screen. There we go. Okay, so April 25th to the 28th is when we're going to have the trip. And we did this once before. We did it last spring, and Elliser was part of it. We had such a blast. This one picture here is the people from our last trip. Um, and as you might know, Asheville is keeps being named to some of the top destinations in the US, and there's a good reason. It's here in the mountains, it's in the Blue Ridge Mountains. But it's like this, this little, it's only like 92,000 people, but there's so much going on. There's so many great restaurants and um, bars and activities here, music, and but you're surrounded by mountains, so it's gorgeous. And there's a lot of history from the Vanderbilts and the Blue Biltmore, the Grove Park Inn. It's been a place that has attracted tourists from, in the late 1800s. People have been coming here uh, mostly to get out of the heat in the summer. It's because of its altitude. It's a lot cooler in the summer, and it's just it's gorgeous to look at. And the mountain air is famous supposedly for rejuvenation. We're not going to be doing any of that, but that's what the one reason we used to come all the time. So that's me, and this is from last year's group. There's Elliser, uh, uh, adding her charm if you've met Elliser.
Thank you.
Yes, of course. So we stay at the Foundry Hotel, which is a really nice hotel. It's based on, I mean, they use the buildings that were actually the foundry for the steel used to build the Biltmore. So it's got that industrial feeling, but they've tall ceilings, just the exposed brick, that kind of thing, and the gorgeous lobby and bar downstairs, but it also is in walking distance of everything. So I really love this hotel, and I'm glad we can offer it to you. So we'll start out on a Friday. I'll give you my Asheville walking tour. We walk around Asheville, the downtown, and it really in the downtown it feels much bigger than a 92,000 population town. I mean, there's just so many gorgeous old buildings like this S&W cafeteria that's now this it's got lots of food. It's a food court kind of place, and there's the Times Bar. I don't think you can see right there, but it's you could go in there and you feel like you're in New York City, a New York City bar. And this picture up here was taken in there's an old Woolworth building that they've retained the dining the counter service. So that, and actually this counter was part of the civil rights movement here. It's at a Woolworths, but now the Woolworths is a artist gallery, kind of like almost everything in Asheville is devoted to the arts. And so there's lots of this Woolworth, you can still eat at the counter, but you can then shop for paintings and collage and all kinds of great stuff. All that, I think there's just so many artists around here that have kind of been attracted over the years, starting with the artisans that came to help build the Biltmore and I mean and do all the crafts and so forth on the Biltmore home. That's kind of one of the things that started bringing craftspeople and artists here. There's also a drumming session. Hopefully one of us can be doing that drumming. Maybe they'll let us do some drumming. But there's drumming and dancing on every Friday night. So we'll have a little fun with that. Then we go to this really the Grove Park, the Grove Arcade is sometimes called the first indoor mall, shopping mall. And but it was built in the teens or the 19 teens or the 1920s. Lots of Art Deco, and there's all these shops in it. It's a really gorgeous building. But then we go for champagne at this Battery Park Book Exchange and Champagne Bar. So that's it up here on the top. Well, both these pictures are on the this one with the champagne glasses and the one on the top right. So it's just they sell books, you drink wine. Sometimes on Fridays they'll have music. It's a great atmosphere, and it's a great way to start out in Asheville. Then we'll go to one of Asheville's great restaurants downtown. So that's our Friday. And then Saturday, one of my favorite experiences, and I think it was pretty much the most popular experience from the group that did it last year. So, we're surrounded by these gorgeous mountains. There's a lot of history in Appalachia. We are part of Appalachia here, and people have always foraged for food. There's lots of food in the woods, mushrooms, berries, nuts, greens. And so we work with this company that will take us out into the woods, and we walk around, and the leader will identify, some berries that are good to eat, or some sorrel greens, or we'll find the mushrooms, and we each have baskets there because we all come and do our gathering. And at the end, as you see down here, we place everything on this tarp, and we kind of go through it, make sure we clean out all the twigs or anything else that gets into it. And everything we collect on that morning will go to one of the restaurants in town, and it'll be made into an appetizer for our dinner that night. And people are at first like, "Whoa, we know is it okay?" And the company knows exactly what they're doing. I mean, it's the long history of doing the tours. So it's just fun. It's just a different angle on being outside, outdoors, just learning about what grows here in the woods, in the mountains here, and just the kind of thing that people have done for generations is to supplement some of their food in the kitchen with things they can find around along the property lines, or in the wooden paths in the forest, anything like that. So it's a really fun way to and the guy who leads it is a hoot. so it's just a great way to be introduced to the mountain forest and flora and fauna, just to be out in the woods, but have a purpose while you're doing it is really nice. So we have a good literary history here in Asheville. Thomas Wolfe is from Asheville, who wrote Look Homeward, Angel. And then there's a lot of other writers who've been, since then, since the 20s, have been attracted to this area. So I have a friend, she's a next harbor, she travels with us. She has a beautiful house, and you see us, we're on her back porch here, and she runs a writers community. So we had a really nice lunch, and we listened to writers read some of their work while we ate lunch. And these are the three women who on the bottom here, the three women who read from their work during our literary lunch. So we get some culture. We go out in the woods, then we get some culture, which is really nice. And then, as you might have heard, there's something called the River Arts District. And my boyfriend, my guy, is an artist, and he has a studio. And I've become friends with other artists in his studio. And one of them is this wonderful collage artist named Lee Newton. And last time we just had a happy hour at the studio, but this time Lee is going to give us a mini collage class. So we'll be doing our own small collages, and she'll be instructing us. And what's important about this is I really encourage people to support the artist in the River Arts District, because the River Arts District is one that got really hard hit by the flooding. Mike's studio and Lee's studio was a little bit higher up, so they didn't have as much damage as some other studios. But there are studios now that have reopened. The community has come out to volunteer to help get these studios open again. I helped paint at one point, but a lot of people who have no connection to the studios just see something, a sign, an Instagram post or a Facebook post saying we need volunteers for cleaning out trash, and they've all joined. People from all over have joined in on these projects. So Lee is actually somebody who lost almost everything in the flood. She was on the first floor of Mike's studio, and his space is upstairs and was not damaged. Her space was downstairs. Everything swept away. And so she's been starting over, collecting papers and getting her work back in progress. So I'm happy to help her, work with her to offer this class, and also just show off her work, because it's beautiful. This fox here is just made it's one of my favorite works of hers, just all tiny strips of paper to make, which adds its texture and richness to that painting. So that's one of the fun things we'll do. So we'll have writing, we have art, and then of course we're going to eat well. This is an example of last year, the appetizer that was made with the things that we foraged, mushrooms and some sorrel and some nuts, I believe. I can't remember everything that we collected, but it was a really nice restaurant, great food. And so you get to, I just think that's great to be able to eat what you worked all morning for. So the next day we will go on a hike off the Blue Ridge Parkway, and it'll be there's a hiking trail that I have in mind that it's pretty close to town. And so we can go, and you go out and you return back, on the same trail. So it's possible, if you didn't want to do as much hiking, you could hike a shorter amount and then come back to the Folk Art Center. That will be our starting point. It has arts from all Southern Appalachian artisans. So that way you can hike as much as you want. And usually, like last year, we did a lot of driving on the Blue Ridge Parkway. This year, we we can't do as much driving because the Blue Ridge Parkway was damaged in the storm. So it's closed in many different places north um of Asheville. But we'll be on it enough. We'll get to, do the hike and get some views. So I'm really looking forward to that. Then we're going to go to there's a certain hipness to Asheville, and one of the things that the young people, that's one of the great things is there's it's kind of a appreciation of some of the arts and things before everything went digital. And a great example of this is this um, place where they actually press vinyl records, and they offer tours to people and of showing you how the records have been made. And then there's a little cafe there that we can go to. So it's just a kind of a glimpse into that more hip part of Asheville, that it's become, that has become well known. Then on Sunday evening, we go to the Grove Park Inn. And I mean, just look at this inn. It's just magnificent. It was built in the 1920s. No, 1913, I think. And it's just where it's perched, like what you see as right there of the picture of all of us. We're on a slope where we can just look out to the west, and there's just magnificent views of the mountains and a sunset. So we have a drink there, just a fabulous place. And the Grove Park Inn itself is worth seeing. Like there's, just inside, there's these massive fireplaces that you can walk into. It's known for attracting the
I'm gonna finish on this.
It's known for attracting people like Thomas Edison and Henry Ford and Rockefeller. This is the kind of place where they would come on their summer vacations to get the mountain air. So, and it's still one of the premier hotels. One of these massive. You can't understand how they even built it. It's so huge, and the way the rock's laid, and look at the waviness of the roof. It's such a interesting place. And of course it has the best sunsets in town. So of course we have to go there. Hold on a second. Then we'll go out a Sunday night dinner. We'll go out to another great restaurant in town. And then on Monday, we'll go to the Biltmore House and Estate. And I don't know, I'm sure you have heard of the Biltmore, and I don't know how much I can tell you about it that might not. Yeah, I would feel like you already know. I mean, it's like the largest private home in the US, and it is just so magnificent and unbelievable that somebody built this in the 1890s. George Vanderbilt, I guess he was the grandson of Cornelius Vanderbilt, went all out. I mean, it's just, you can't even imagine that somebody had money like that to spend. And the gardens, especially in April, are tremendous. I mean, here, this picture is us taken in the gardens, in the arbor with the wisteria. And so the house is a great thing to see, but the gardens too, especially in spring, it's going to be fabulous just to take in. They have gorgeous groomed gardens, and they change it like 3 times a year. And then they have a greenhouse with these exotic plants, and they're completely devoted to making it the most vibrant colors and so forth. So a great place to go. That's me at my front door of my house. Come on. And if possible, if we have time, you can come to my house. But so that is kind of an overview of the trip. And I also wanted to introduce Marcelina. Where are you, Mars?
Right there.
Mars, oh, there's Mars. You can unmute yourself. And she was on last year's trip. You see that? And I just wanted to say,
Yeah.
there you go.
Hi,
So
can
tell
you
us,
hear me?
yes, we can hear you. Tell us what you felt about last year's trip.
Oh my goodness. Well, I have to say, if you're a photographer at all, even just an iPhone photographer, it's a challenge to not just want to shoot pictures all day, every day in Asheville because everything is so picturesque. I just couldn't get enough of the neighborhoods, walking around, near what's it called again? The forgery? No, the glow,
The
the
Foundry
foundry.
Hotel? Yeah.
I loved that whole neighborhood. We did a lot of walking. All the different neighborhoods in Asheville are very, interesting, archaeologically or architecturally, I should say. And but I think my favorite thing of all was the foraging. That was just so much fun. We had beautiful weather. We spent the whole day out in nature. We got to like just pick things and oh my gosh, we learned so much from our guide and the people that he had working with him and then just being able to that evening have a meal made with things that we had picked was just so cool. It's like how often do you get to do that, you know? Um, I absolutely adored that. Is the Chihuly is that still a show?
No, that
Oh,
was at Biltmore, but there
oh,
was a
too bad.
exhibit at Biltmore that was part of the tour
Yeah.
last year, but it's closed now.
Oh, okay. Love the Biltmore. That was really, it's the kind of thing I would not have done on my own because I'd be like, I don't know, too cheap to pay for the tickets or whatever. But it was part of the whole thing. And, we never, it was just worth every minute of walking around. And like Jeannie said, the gardens were so magnificent. We spent a couple hours just on the gardens alone, but let me think what else. So yeah, the Biltmore. The other thing that I loved is when your friends invited us to the lunch with the writers' lunch and the writers. I didn't know that Asheville was known for being a writers' community. I'd heard that before. Um, but I loved that. And I loved all these women reading from their books and talking about their work and their relationships with their whole creative community. And it really made me want to come back to Asheville and maybe even take a writing class or some kind of workshop or something, because that was just so cool. And then one more thing I was going to say was Grove Park, which was that toward the end of our trip, Jeannie?
Yes, yes.
So we had spent a day, excuse me, where we drove through the Blue Ridge Mountains, which I've always wanted to do. And then we went to Grove Park, which was just, you couldn't even have told me what it was like. You just have to see it for yourself because the scale is so large compared to the way hotels are these days. And like Jeannie said, these rooms are just oversized. Everything, the ceilings are so tall, the fireplaces are gigantic, the rocks are huge. It's just a scale like we never see anymore. And we got to sit outside. The weather was beautiful. We sat outside at sunset, had cocktails, and just looked at the incredible the mountains. Oh my gosh, it was
Yep.
so beautiful. So I I've told so many people about this trip because it was one of the coolest places I'd ever been. It made me really want to move there. So I was super jealous of you after you moved there and getting to see all the neighborhoods and all that stuff.
Well,
So
it's funny because I lived in Austin before, and there's certain connection between Austin and
yeah,
Asheville. People say, "Oh, Asheville feels a lot like Austin, 20 years ago."
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but I think it's never going to be as big as Austin is now. But it does have that. There's some just kind of uh, not edginess, but just a
Well, it's a creative, certainly a
yeah, the
creative
creative.
vibe. Everywhere you turn, there's, art from different artists, every medium you can think of. And you're just surrounded by art and beauty and architecture. And that's, what's not to love about that. So,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, what a great trip.
Oh, good. Well, you could come back.
I
No.
know, I'm just looking at my calendar and thinking, wow, I wonder if I could squeeze that one in. I
That's
do
so,
have a couple other Next Tribe trips this year, so
oh,
I don't know.
yeah, that's right. You do. You're going to Italy.
I'm going to
Oh,
Umbria and I'm going to Seattle, so I'm super excited
good.
about
Oh,
those.
good. I'm so
Yeah.
excited. Ellis, or do you want to add anything? And then we'll open it up for questions.
Well, no, just, it's my backyard. You're 2 hours away. I'm in the upstate of South Carolina. I run the Charleston trip, by the way, if
Yes.
anybody wants to go to
Yes.
Charleston. But go to both.
That was such a great trip.
Thanks,
Oh, that's right.
Catherine.
Catherine
Catherine
has
was
been
on that trip. Awesome, awesome. So, no, I mean, Marcelina said, she said it all, and Jeannie, and just if anybody has any questions, I'll be happy to answer as well as these other two. So I think y'all covered it. It's a great.
Good, good. So what kind of question, Catherine, you've signed up, what kind of, any questions from you?
No, I mean, I'm really excited about it. I was so sad for so many reasons why it didn't work out in October. I was all excited about it, and then it didn't work out, and I was so sorry for everybody in Asheville. We know hurricanes here in Houston. I live in
Yes.
Houston. This is and how do you get a hurricane up in Asheville? It was just mind-boggling, that whole situation. But yeah, so no, I did the Charleston trip, and so I'm so glad. So I'm sure you're gonna be on this trip as well.
I don't think so. I just was giving a plug for Charleston, but I did do it last year with Jeannie if she needs me. So
Yes, yeah, so
I might come up for a day.
it just
I wish you would.
depends.
I wish you would. Oh, I wish you would, Elsa.
Okay, my arm
and-
twisted.
Alistair, how
Yeah,
can I forget?
twist your
How can I
arm.
forget the hot donuts you brought us in the hotel?
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
we'll get those too. I forgot. I just brought them. So Elser and some of my college friends were up this past weekend, and I'm not even a big donut lover, but they're the best donuts I've ever had. And I brought them up for a whole college crowd.
Okay, so it sounds like I need to bring my stretchy pants on this trip.
Yes.
Anyway, and so I was excited to see you pop on, Marcelina, as well, but you're not going to come on this. You're just here to give a plug for it.
I'm gonna look again, but probably not. I like to try new. I know. I like to try new places, but
And then you're gonna say, oh, okay, all right, I understand. I understand.
I just asked her to
come. I'm going to see Marcelina on Friday, so I'm really excited about that.
Oh, good. Is that for the Gauguin thing?
yeah, but
Yes,
a few of us are going to be driving down to Houston and meet up with her girls and go to see the Gauguin show, and Nancy's going to be there. We're going to do some more thrifting Saturday morning, and yeah,
Fun.
super
That
fun.
sounds great.
Have
Nan,
dinner
what
and stuff like that.
Nan, what
So-
about you?
Well, first, the people in Houston, where's the Gauguin? I live in Fort Worth.
It's at the Museum of Fine Arts in
Okay.
Houston.
Well, I was there at Christmas. Son didn't tell me. He's in trouble. Anyway,
Well, if you want to make a road trip, then you are
Oh.
most welcome. I will send you the information.
I probably will. One quick question kind of for Jeannie and people. I'm one of these that I travel by myself most of the time because I hadn't ever found Nick's tribe, and now I can go with a bunch of cool ladies. If I stay over like 2 or 3 more days, there'll be plenty to see, correct?
Oh, yes, of course.
Because I'm thinking that, knowing me, I'll probably want to go spend at least 2 days at the Arts District. I'm a creative.
Oh, right. Well, the Arts District, I mean, there's
I know it was heavily damaged, but
so that there's fewer studios open.
that's okay.
But also, another thing that is, if you stay longer, there's such cute little mountain towns in the surrounding area that we don't really get to.
So getting a car for after would be a good idea.
Depends on it really depends on what it is that you're going to want to do. I'm not.
'Cause nowadays cars are hard to get and they're so expensive. Like rental cars, rental car. I saw that Marcy was on.
Yes, I'm introduced Marcy and Bryn.
Marcy, you made me feel loved and wanted, and
I know.
I'd like to meet you. Are you going on the trip?
Probably not.
Oh, well, it's so good to now have a face. And
Yeah,
really
same. I recognized your voice when you started talking.
Oh, yes.
I mean, I recognize your name too, but yeah.
No,
Nice
I
to
have a
see
voice like a little girl, but
you.
in a classroom, most people jump.
And I also wanted, so Marcy's our travel manager, and Bryn Lyon works as helping in customer service. Say hi, Bryn.
Everyone. Nice to see you all out there.
Hi. And let's see, I have Zoe and Shannon. Do you have any questions? I know I can't see your faces, but that's okay. Do you have any questions? I guess not. Okay, that's
Maybe they're
okay.
having trouble.
You don't have to ask questions. I just wanted to make sure I didn't miss you if you wanted to talk about anything. So, I mean, most people ask is Asheville should become, because is, so still so damaged, and it is not. You can't, you go downtown, you go to the Grove Park Inn, you go to, all this Biltmore, everything is back. I mean, obviously we experienced a tragedy, and there's like the Biltmore Village and the River Arts District are the two areas most impacted in the city limits. And, the River Arts District, we have our own, will be there. So it's the part that we were going to be at anyway is already open. So, I feel very confident that you're going to enjoy Asheville. And I think that you're doing a service, whether I know you're not doing this to be a service, but I think it's important that people know that you can come back to Asheville, because it is such a popular town. And we did have such a hit to the community that it's really a great thing to have people coming back. So as promised, I've got names of people. Somebody's going to win $200 off the trip. So I've got Shanna, I've got Zoe, I've got Catherine, and I've got Nan. And you're all going in my little, wait, where's that one go? Here. So let's see who's going to win the 200. Zoe?
Woo!
Zoe, if you want to come, and if you sign up in the next week, you'll get $200 off the price of the trip. So I'm waving to you. I hope you're seeing me. But all you'd have to do if you sign up, and then Marcy would deduct the $200 from the balance owed. So I want you also to remember that we have payment plans where you can, well, we're pretty close now, but still you don't pay all at once. It's interest free. You can break up your payments. So we do that. So it's easier to handle this versus taking it all at once. So Zoe, you're approved for $200 off if you want it. Anyway, if there's nothing else, I'm gonna just say goodbye to you guys, but I know I'll see Nan and Catherine, and I hope I'm gonna see Zoe and Shanna.
I booked New York as well.
Oh, fabulous. Oh my God, that's right. I did so we're gonna have a lot of time together.
I hope so.
Marcelina, I think I'm gonna sign up for the Umbria.
Oh, please do. Oh my
I've
gosh.
been trying to decide. I had booked to go to an artist retreat in France, and it was canceled.
Oh,
Wow.
Which just, I was like livid, and I was going to go to France by myself. And then I saw that trip and I was like, nope, I think I need to go to Italy. Because Italy's my first love. I would go to Italy.
Jeannie, there's still some spaces, and can somebody still sign up?
Oh, or there's
fall
Or
Umbria
Asheville?
trip.
the one
No,
in
no,
fall.
Asheville.
Oh, the Asheville trip. Oh, absolutely. Yes, yes. We've got about
Okay, maybe I can
5.
convince Delcy to come.
Oh, Delcy, I know. Delcy, I was just with her in Morocco.
Yeah, yeah,
And
I saw y'all. Oh my God, I saw you sliding down the side of a sand dune and all of that. I was like, she's sending me these pictures. I'm like, my God. She sent me pictures of this hot chocolate with the big whipped cream on it. I'm like,
Oh, it's crazy.
trying to
It's
do
just,
me.
well, we like to do, for those of you who haven't traveled with us, we do offer some domestic destinations so that you can get a taste of how a Next Tribe trip runs, what it feels like without making a big commitment. And I think, Catherine, that's how you started. You first went to
I went to
Charleston.
Charleston,
Yep, it
and
was
that's how
Alistair who converted you to a regular, right?
totally, very true. It's very true. That's why if Alistair doesn't come for at least some of this, I'm going to be unhappy. So
Oh,
I don't know where she went. I don't see her anymore,
Oh, I
but
know. Maybe she had to run. Maybe she had to get off.
well,
That's-
I'm just going to verbally twist her arm from Houston
Okay.
over there to South Carolina.
Okay. Very good. Very good. So anyway, well, thank you all for joining us. And I look forward to seeing you in Asheville. And I hope we get some news, definitely Nan and Catherine are already signed up. And we'd love to see more of you on this trip. So thank you. And if there's any questions that you have in the future, you can see that Marcy put in the chat, travel@nexttribe.com. That's where if you have any questions, she'll be your point of contact, and we will make sure you have a great time. Okay?
Yeah. Thank
Thank
you. That was
you.
fun.
Thanks to all.